Massive Bengals move is incoming. With Joe Burrow sidelined with a recent injury where he could be out for up to 3 months, the Bengals are looking for more stability in their quarterback room. We're going to break down some reports of reported names tied to Cincinnati that could join that quarterback room of Jake Browning and bringing more stability for this 2025 season. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. Happy to see you, Bengals fans. Be sure to drop us a line below your thoughts of all that has been going on with Joe Burrow looking to be at least out for 3 months, possibly more for this season, which raises a lot of questions. Jake Browning is your guy. He showed he can win on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, what are the Bengals going to do outside of Jake Browning? You need to have some stability there. So, reports have been coming out. What kind of names are we seeing out there? Well, recently, there has been some interesting ones, including Jameis Winston. Yes, the big names are starting to come out, but some reports are actually showing the Bengals are showing interest, which is very interesting to me. The Bengals seem like they're much into Jake Browning. They're confident he's going to be able to pick up the slack with Joe Burrow being out. Again, at least 3 months. We've talked about this injury. This is probably one of the worst news that they're going to have here recently. Being out for that long, it could potentially be the whole season. So the Bengals have a lot of things to consider here. Jake Browning has shown he can win, but if something were to happen to Jake Browning, what is the backup plan? Well, Brett Rypien is the backup on the practice squad as of right now. He went to Boise State, but he's kind of been that journeyman. I don't really see him being more of a backup. He almost is that emergency backup that they would elevate in the situation if there's not much options out there. If you look up his stats, his career, he's been that backup. And the Bengals seem like they are kind of preparing for the worst here and that Burrow could potentially be out for the year. And Jake Browning could get them to the playoffs. I feel like he's that guy that could start on other teams. He is considered, if not the best, one of the best backups in the league. So this is where you're finding Jameis Winston. Different names are out there that the Bengals are linked to. That also includes Malik Willis over in Green Bay. That is someone that they have been tied to. What's interesting about Malik Willis is that he has not played very many games in his career. He is 3-2. So I find that interesting that the Bengals are inquiring about him. But if you look at his overall stats, that is probably something that the Bengals kind of covet. They're kind of seeking a person that is going to be accurate, like Joe Burrow. That's what Joe Burrow is really good at, is being accurate. He has a 74.1% accuracy. Again, not much of he's got more of a sample size, not many starts under his belt. But that might be something the Bengals value. Someone that is going to be accurate, because at the end of the day, the Bengals have the weapons. They are going to be able to just find a stable, solid quarterback that can pick up the slack. And that's what you're having with Jake Browning. I think Jake Browning is that guy that is going to be able to hold down the fort. He has shown that he can make those throws. I mean, he wasn't just some slouch. He wasn't just throwing some dump-off passes. There was some great passes going on, despite his 3 interceptions on Sunday. For being thrown into the game so short notice, being a backup, you need to be ready for those things. But take those interceptions out of the equation. He looked really good. And that's what we're hoping for with Jake Browning, is that he can kind of iron out those wrinkles, get more stability, be more prepared and ready to go, and maybe take care of the ball a little bit more. The interceptions, those turnovers, those are things that are definitely going to need to be cleaned up. But that's what they have in Jake Browning. He could be a guy that could take it to the playoffs, but there's nothing wrong with looking at other options as well. So Willis is one that they could pursue. He was 2-0 last year for the Green Bay Packers when he filled in. 550 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So that's probably why the Bengals are at least inquiring. I don't know what kind of trade they would be pursuing with him, but it is interesting nonetheless. I think that was probably more of a phone call just to see what kind of trade is on the table, and then they're going to go back and look at their options. That's just a hunch I have, but stay tuned to that. That could be someone that they add as a backup to Jake Browning. Another option that they have has been linked again is Jameis Winston. And that's a name that has been thrown around because he was a first round pick and has honestly for his career been kind of that backup. So that would make that a solid backup to Jake Browning, I feel like. And the plus side when it comes to Jake Browning having a backup like Jameis Winston is that you're not going to break the bank with Winston. Apparently the supposed numbers that have been coming out, he is on a 2-year, $8 million contract currently with the Giants. So it all comes down to what kind of draft picks or what kind of trade are they going to have to give up. But in return, you're talking a guy for $4 million. That's not too bad. I'm worried, again, you don't want to go out and just spend a bunch of money on a backup because I feel like Jake Browning is that solid quarterback. He is the starter. They have that confidence in him. Other than that big name guy that should be a starter on other teams, somehow they're able to secure. I don't know why any of these guys would be a starter over Browning at the moment. The other guy that's been linked to the Bengals has been Kirk Cousins, and that's a name that you're going to hear a lot of. He's probably the biggest name out there. He's backing up in Atlanta right now. The problem that I have with Kirk Cousins is he's only on his second year of a 4-year, $180 million deal. I just don't see it. The Bengals are very conscious of the salary cap. They're very conscious of the money they're going to be spending. This is just kind of a big name that's linked to it. You're going to hear this thrown out a lot in reports, but I will be shocked if the Bengals decide to go with Kirk Cousins. And frankly, I think Kirk Cousins is kind of past his prime. He could certainly excel, especially with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as targets. I could see him doing well. I think a lot of quarterbacks are going to be doing well with those kind of targets, but not for that price. That just does not make any sense whatsoever. That's a lot of money tied up. They've already paying Burrow $55 million. Why would you do that? That's just more of a why. That's the question I ask. I think you would almost go with Winston over Kirk Cousins in that particular instance. Winston is the problem with him is he's kind of that boom or bust quarterback. He could certainly go out there and sling it. I mean, he's got an arm. He has shown that he can throw 3, 4, 5 touchdowns a game. And then again, for those passes that he's throwing, he could throw 3, 4, 5 interceptions a game. So he's kind of that boom or bust guy. I wouldn't feel bad about them picking him up. He's probably the one that with his salary, I'm thinking if they're going to make some kind of a move, that is the guy they're probably going to pursue. Different names that have been tied to potential candidates the Bengals would be backing up Jake Browning with. And another one is Taylor Heinicke. He's 32 years old, but he does have a 62.5% completions, 39 to 28 touchdown interception ratio. He could be potentially out there. He's on the free agency, so they wouldn't have to give up anything in trade. I could see that kind of a signing. That's a guy to keep an eye out for. Nothing that's going to really blow you away. He's just going to be that more, I guess, veteran guy. Again, he's 32 years old. So that could be one that they sign, if not onto the squad, practice squad, that type of thing. But that's another name that's been tied kind of in the reports. Another one is Desmond Ridder. They did have him in training camp. He played in preseason. Desmond Ridder has a 63.6 completion. And when he was playing for Atlanta, he was drafted by them originally. Again, doesn't have very many starts under his belt. You're only seeing a sample size with him. He has a 16 touchdown to 14 interceptions. So he knows the system. He might be another name to keep an eye out for overall. I again go back to if they're going to make some kind of a move, Jameis Winston is probably going to be the big name tied to all of that. So keep an eye out for that because, again, the report that was originally shown was that they have been in talks. So that's kind of the big name to keep an eye out for. You're probably going to hear Kirk Cousins, other names, but that makes the most sense. When it comes to the salary, comes to a guy that's going to be that veteran that can give some guidance, possibly that could just be one that I wouldn't be surprised. But stay tuned. I feel like they're going to be very comfortable with Jake Browning, pending any kind of injury, he's going to be your guy. And it's interesting because, again, he has showed on Sunday he can win. So the Bengals are going to be all in on Browning for this season, especially with Burrow. At least 3 months is what he's looking at. There are reports that he's going to be out the whole year. Turf toe is no joke. There's been ones linked to it, just is that lingering injury. Unfortunately, it's just not good news. It's not good if you're a Bengals fan when it comes to Burrow. But we've seen stranger things happen. Jake Browning has shown he can win. Who knows? They could get to the playoffs and beyond. I could see it happen. They've got the talent to do it. It's just going to be a matter of, can these guys get the momentum? Can they be synced together and ride it into a possible playoff berth? We want to hear from you guys. Out of the names listed, who do you think is going to be the most likely the Bengals possibly pursue? Is there other names not listed that you think the Bengals should go and pursue? Leave your comments below and let us know. And again, if you have not already, smash that subscribe so you'll be all up to date when all of our new videos drop. So that's going to do it for now, guys. As we say, who dat?